living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life. Cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah.
I'm coming close.
Hello, everybody. Live from Koreatown in a depressed Los Angeles, humid, moist space. It is the Ozone. I'm your host, Omar Miller, the host with the most. And I'm here with my brother, the Icons. How you feeling, Icons?
It is a nice, cool, brisk night here. I feel great, even though my Rams have taken defeat.
The nice, warm 76-degree temperature, Batman. So, well, by now you all know what happened. It was, in fact, not Ram time. We thought it was going to be Ram time. Both of us felt really good, and both of us were totally and completely wrong. And I don't know. I just want to cover it soup to nuts, as they say in the entertainment business. Soup to nuts. I want to cover it top to bottom. I have to say, I felt like the real MVP of the Rams in this one was Wade Phillips.
Oh, no question.
Wade Phillips will get your defense together.
His father was a defensive genius.
Guru.
Yes, he shut down Joe Montana in his heyday.
Which is
came out with the 46, and they never minded. What was that, dude? Dude, that's the 46.
Dude, don't mess around with Phillips, bro. He'll pull out the 46 on you.
Yeah, he brought out the 46.
Yeah, and it changed the game. And I tell you, this go-around, Wade Phillips, we just watched something that's just totally and completely unheard of. Wade Phillips.
In football, in general.
Especially now.
Yeah.
I want to put out something else. Pretty well officiated game.
Yeah.
Which is not something that
not
you
in
get
the
to
beginning.
say.
When I was like, oh, here we go. But then they toned it down.
Yeah. I don't feel like the refs were a factor in this game.
No.
Even though that the Woods catch looked like he grabbed his arm a little bit early at the elbow, but what can you do?
No question. He had
they
PI.
like he had
there was a couple of times with PI because even when it was down on the sideline, who was that on the sideline? Not I'll get back to you.
Okay. So, yeah. But by and large, there was not one specifically egregious play where you're like, hey, here we go. The refs are now involved in the game. The refs has injected themselves in a way. Now,
well, they did it early and it was recoverable because the Rams got a turnover. But when the Patriots it was like a 45-yard turnaround because it would have been third and long, like 3rd and 20, but they ended up getting a first off of a personal foul, unnecessary or defensive receiver on tackling the running back in the backfield. I didn't understand that, but it wasn't something that was detrimental to the game.
Right. Yeah. Well, either way it goes, I don't think that it was that. You know, that I don't feel like it was that big of a deal.
To me, the MVP was for the Patriots was Sean McVay. He's the MVP.
Unbelievable.
And he's on the radio right now telling everybody how he tricked.
I heard him on my drive over here to the studio.
But I'm sick and tired of hearing it.
Saying how he knows that when he watches, he's going to want some plays back. All right, let's just start it off. What's wrong with Todd Gurley?
Nothing. And Todd Gurley came out and said it. McVay came out and said it. Everybody is saying he's okay, and he can't get in the game. I'm listening to people saying how how he had a bad game. He didn't have a game at all.
A couple weeks ago, I actually thought it was really ballsy of McVay to pull Gurley in New Orleans when Gurley, you could tell his mind wasn't right. Like the moment was too big for him.
Yeah, he got shook.
And he pulled him, and then he put him back in the fourth quarter, and Todd Gurley did what Todd Gurley does. In the game tonight, the only time that the Rams whatsoever looked like they were dangerous was when Todd Gurley was peeling off 12, 15, quick runs like that.
Well, you know their record. If he carries the ball 15 times, you know what their record is.
600-0.
Yeah, 11-0.
How many times did he carry the ball?
I think it's a nice, robust 10, I do believe.
Just under the number. Yes! I don't get it. I don't understand. You're talking about a guy who is arguably, the best running back in football. I don't even know how arguable it is, but
no, he's the most dynamic player in football, and definitely on the offensive side of the ball. He can do everything, and he's a game changer.
And the thing is,
you won't let him change the game.
It didn't pop at first. That doesn't mean it's not gonna pop. Everybody, including Bill Belichick, knows that you're going to run with them. So that's why you continue to pound.
But where do you figure that it didn't pop?
I'm just saying early. They tried with him early. I mean, super early.
He had one carry. They took him out.
That's one too many.
And then you say, oh, yeah, man, he wasn't effective. No, he's not effective if you're sitting on the bench. I wasn't effective. I was at the house eating some habanero wings that burned up my stomach. I got it.
That's what you had a game, though.
I had a game.
You had a game. You executed your game plan.
And I'd listen to Todd Gurley talk about it afterwards, and he's not upset. And if I was him, I wouldn't be upset either because he can't do anything. He said when his number is called, he's ready. That's all you can do. I'm prepared.
Now, C.J. Anderson actually tapped his helmet to say he needed a breather, and Todd Gurley had that look like you look when you're a good athlete that's riding the bench and was like, oh, me? Todd Gurley looked like he wasn't really crazy to get in the game at the moment.
Right. I'm going to spell C.J. Anderson, and I was the MVP for most of the year. Come on, man. I mean, this is McVay. He's got to wear that. And I don't even know if I can be down with the Rams organization if you're going to play the game like this.
Every year. Now, this is 2 years in a row. You did it last year against the Falcons.
Let's not even go every year. Let's go the games, the big games, all the big games. Every game that you look at that they lost.
The Bears.
What did he touch the ball? 12 times?
He didn't touch it much.
Something like that.
When Todd Gurley.
When they lost to the Saints the first time, the same thing.
If I had a knock on Todd Gurley, and there's not really much you can say bad about the guy because he's a stud. If I had a knock on Todd Gurley, it would just be that he's a rhythm back, meaning he's got to be worked into the game. He's not going to, but most backs are like this. But it's not like he's just going to pop in and go nuts. You know
I don't agree. I think he can go nuts. He can go freaking nuts if you let him.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But you need to get him you need to feed him.
Well, and then when you hear people being down on Jared Goff right now, I'm not mad at Jared Goff either because
the moment looked too bright for Jared Goff.
It didn't look too bright for me because Todd Gurley sets the pace for the whole team.
I agree with that.
He compliments, so you can take the pressure off of Jared Goff if you run the ball. But they didn't even run the ball that much with C.J. Anderson. So, I mean,
no,
you can't.
It's like they just abandoned the run for some reason.
Yeah, and he's talking about it. McVay is talking about it, but it's too late now. You lost. And I don't want to hear about next year and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the nows.
It's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable situation. You look at it, and every year we're talking about next year. This was a real torch-passing moment. This is what it should have been. And the real pressure is on Adam Levine. Adam Levine, for some reason, is like is an old dude with way too many tattoos. What are you doing, Adam?
Old dude in the biker club.
He's gotta be your man. He ripped his shirt off like he was going to have a political statement on his chest, and it was like a butterfly in California. What's going on here?
Man, I wasn't supporting. That was my little boycott.
That was your protest? You didn't miss much because I'm going to tell you what.
Halftime.
All-time great Atlanta rapper Big Boy of Outkast fame and then his own Daddy Fat Sax fame was he did one verse. That was his performance. One verse. Him and Sleepy Brown from I Like the Way You Move. And it was almost like a token nod. Then they had Travis Scott. I don't know, man. I don't. That was that was the perfect Super Bowl halftime show to go with that Super Bowl. Because that Super Bowl was anticlimactic. This is the least amped up I've been about a Super Bowl game ever. I can't remember caring less after I watched the Super Bowl.
Well, and because honestly, I know that the Patriots are going to run off into the sunset with the Great Patriot Parade and all that kind of stuff, but Tom Brady looked terrible.
He looked hideous.
I mean, he was throwing wobblers out there. He was having a hard time reading the defense. That's why they had to stick to the.
Well, and what they did is that, and this is also a testament to Belichick, because what they did is they punished him, and they said he hadn't been sacked the entire playoffs. Well, guess what? He ended up on his butt a bunch of times against Sue and Aaron Donald, and they put pressure on him. They sacked him immediately. Tom Brady is not above getting the happy feet.
Right.
And if you put pressure on him early, he will get the happy feet and he'll throw the ball up. And that's what he did.
He gave you the old soft shoe.
But here's the thing, and this is the greatness of the Pats. I had a caller tell me offline that the Pats are both lucky and good because they heard the rant that I had about the Pats being lucky. And it's true, they are. They're both lucky and good. Oh, we got our special guest in the house.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Jazz musician.
Get out.
And my man is in the house. Eric Harland, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, get get them headphones on, boy. You know how them headphones work.
Man, look, let me get in here, man.
Get in here. You might want to take your coat off. It gets hot at night.
Okay.
But we're here. Jazz man extraordinaire, a drummer, a personal friend of the Ozone, is in town.
What's up?
Just to sizzle up just to sizzle up Los Angeles with some smooth tunes.
Smooth.
I went and seen him last night, and if you missed him, you had 2 nights to check him out, folks. Y'all played around. This is Eric Harland. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. You need to talk about me though.
We need to talk about this game. That's what we need deep into. Man, pull the mic closer, brother. You're so smooth. The Jazz so smooth. You can't even hear you.
Welcome to the Ozone.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is the Patriots being – I went on a rant a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
About the Patriots being the luckiest sports franchise in the history of sports. And if you go time after time after time about how they get all the calls,
right,
or if not all the calls, somebody does something that's absolutely and completely ridiculous that benefits them, like the guy playing 94 snaps and deciding to line up in the neutral zone on the play that Tom Brady should have thrown the 3rd and final interception of the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, which negated that. Right. By the way, that same individual decided to be lined up in the neutral zone in the Pro Bowl the next week. He has a problem with lining up in the neutral zone.
So that's where he lives.
He
lives in the neutral zone. I'm in the neutral zone.
He lives in Switzerland. He's neutral.
Well,
he got real estate there. Yeah, man. And so we were talking about that, and then offline, a caller told me, you know what? You're right. They are lucky, but they're also good. And you can't hold that out. And it's the truth. They are lucky and they're good. Tonight, I feel like this is the least impressive Tom Brady performance I've ever seen.
Yeah, and they called him out on it. Finally, yeah. The announcers
this was to me, honestly, I think this was maybe a worse performance than Peyton Manning had in that game that they won.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
The only thing that he did was that he hit Gronkowski with that big pass. That's
huge pass.
That was
beautiful
the only
teardrop.
thing that he had done.
Beautiful teardrop.
That made me think that he had played a little bit better game
than Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Because I don't think Peyton Manning went more than 20
yeah.
yards. Yeah, I don't think he went more than 10, 15 yards.
Yeah. But my problem, like with the Rams, they were down. It was 3rd and 20-something, and they're running the ball.
And now you want to run the ball. 3rd and 23, and now you want to run Gurley. So what you missed is we're talking about how you have the most dynamic player in football and the best running back in football, and you don't give him the pill.
Hey, but didn't that happen with Seattle?
Well, no. That's one play, but they ran Marshawn the whole night.
And then they didn't run him on the line.
They ran a wheel play actually to set up that, if you remember, up the sideline.
Uh-huh.
But if you look at how many touches that Marshawn got, we're talking about Todd Gurley. This is 2 years in a row now with the Rams, where the Rams will be eliminated in a game where Todd Gurley gets the ball less than 15 times.
It's not acceptable.
No, not at all.
Unless there's something wrong with him, which he's come out and said that there's nothing wrong with him.
And the coach. And everybody else. They said there hasn't been anything wrong with Todd Gurley since the Philadelphia game where they took him for an MRI and he came back clean. And there's been nothing wrong with him except for them not using him. That's what's wrong.
Hey man, maybe freshman legs, man.
Freshman legs 4 years in on your senior year. Freshman legs in your senior year. I don't know about that.
Man, I wanted them to win so bad, man.
Of course, the whole nation. I hate to say this. But there's something directly tied with rooting for the Patriots. It feels like you're rooting for the Trump administration.
It sure does. Well, you know why?
It just feels like that.
And Trump called it today, Well, I know that, we'll have them at the White House. They love coming to the White House. Like, dude, they have not been to the White House with him. They didn't win last year.
Exactly. But the Patriots have that allure. Yeah. They have that Yankee kind of allure where it feels like they've won the Super Bowl. It feels like the Yankees, regardless of the Yankees not winning the World Series in 10 years, every year the spring training starts, it feels like the Yankees just won the World Series.
Wow, man, the Yankees won enough.
Man, they were so good. What is that, about 50, 60 World Series now? And, man, I don't know. I got Boston Mike that just decided to text me, and Boston Mike told me somehow or another the city of Boston was able to weather a 97-day drought of championships, and it was difficult. But the whole 97 days, are you crazy?
They holding it down.
Only thing that we can say about them is they got bum weather.
Hey, World Series.
World Series, they beat the crap out of the Dodgers in the World Series, and in a crushing fashion, not even in like a.
And the Celtics aren't that bad.
And then and I just talked to Troy OG on my way over here, and OG was like, "Yeah, wait till the Celtics get Anthony Davis." Jeez Louise. Yeah, man. And so
they can't get him.
Something's happening in Boston. They're putting something in the water. and as well as something in the referee's pockets.
Exactly.
But
you just took the words out of my mouth, man.
I mean, but the Red Sox didn't cheat. The Red Sox just dominated even though they beat your Houston Astros. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric is from Houston, and we've had some good old times, especially the year that in 2017, the year that the Astros went 7 and beat the Dodgers in 7. And he's a big Astro fan.
Yeah, I'll go wear my hat tonight. I'm off the baseball.
My man.
Yeah. Yeah, he was on the front page of Houston Chronicle, I think it is, because we were standing right behind the when George Springer hit that last bomb in Game 7,
and I lost
which was and the guy that was sitting next to us was classic H-Town. White cap with a grill. Yeah, boy, that's what we talking about here. We out here now. Yeah.
Why they gotta be white?
I'm just telling you, get me classic
You can
H-Town.
go back to the paper. You can see him. That's my boy.
And he's front row on the paper.
He had the stunner zone.
He had on his stunner shades. It was a night game. He had on his stunner shades. It was fantastic. I love that guy.
Cowboy.
Did you get his number?
No, you know what? I don't have
Very
my
Paul
number.
Wall-esque. He was very grills. Call me George Foreman because I'm selling everybody grills. but yeah, so
Oh, we in here now.
this is
get in there.
man, brother. And so okay, I got a question for the panel. Since we're all here and we're all live, before we talk about what you're working on and why you're in town.
No, don't worry about that.
And man, what a radio voice! You hear this guy?
Hey, man.
Crazy, and he's not even on the mic when he's playing. You should see him play.
Wait,
Telling you.
look out.
Okay.
So does this game do anything for Tom Brady's legacy?
Yeah, show me that he's finished, really. If you can put some pressure on him.
Other than, that's a big if. Nobody's been able to do it since like week 12,
Well,
13.
they put pressure on him tonight, and he did not. You know what? This was a game where I honestly feel like McVay lost them the game.
Which is
he
not
never-
something I expected to say.
right, because I know that the Patriots defense played well, and I don't want to take anything away from that, but they didn't play well enough to stop an offense like the Rams have if they played their game. The Patriots didn't do anything really to say, you know what, definitively we'll stop this person or stop that. What happened was that Todd Gurley didn't get the ball, C.J. Anderson didn't get the ball, and
They decided to put the whole game plan on Jared Goff for some reason.
And then they're one-dimensional
Yeah.
because now you're saying that you're going to put a kid back there to pass every down, and then you expect him to beat him. And you're not going to be able to beat anybody like that in the NFL.
But you got to give it up to maturity, though. I mean, Tom Brady he's a GOAT for the reason that he is, and we all hate it. We are like, oh,
I'm not mad at Tom.
Touchdown Tom, he's such a winner.
I'm not mad at him. I'm not
Man.
mad at him. I just really don't appreciate teams. It's the Mike Tyson effect.
It's the Michael
It's
Jordan
the Michael
effect.
Jordan effect.
yeah, I would say Michael Jordan more because Mike Tyson just, what I mean? Like Mike Tyson had like a certain season, and he just knocked.
But see,
Oh,
part of that,
See, the allure of it all was that
that was just going to speak on it.
Yeah.
they lose before they actually have the fight, the match, the game, or whatever it is. They
Before
lose.
the bell is rung, they're already losing.
The game's already over. And this is the same thing that looked like McVay did with Belichick because Wade Phillips came there to play. Wade Phillips the offense might not do anything, but
Guess
my
what?
defense is
My
showing up.
defense is showing up. And if somebody would have told me before the game, the Patriots and Tom Brady will have 3 points going into the fourth quarter, I'd be like, Rams blew them out.
Right.
At no point, just like last week or 2 weeks ago, when you knew that they were playing Kansas City,
Yeah.
you're saying, okay, they shut them out in the first half. You're not going to shut Pat Mahomes down for 4 quarters.
No.
You're not going to do it. And that's what I thought when we were watching the game. We actually watched the game together. I was like, the second half, I've seen
That's
this
usually when
movie.
the game
I've
starts.
seen this movie.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I've seen Todd Gurley get shut down for a half. I've seen Jared Goff get set down for a quarter or a half. I hadn't seen the Rams just get shut down.
Yeah. 3 points. Come on.
Well, and that's all because of their head coach who's taking responsibility for it, but that's not enough for me, man. I'm sick and tired of all these dudes like
You want blood?
Because you
Whoa.
he drew,
That's murder.
he drew first blood.
Rambo.
They drew first blood. I like that.
You didn't know about that, Rambo.
He didn't know. They drew
Rambo.
first blood. No, they did because you know what? When you see a team shoot themselves in the foot, it's very, very disheartening. And it's hard for me to support a team that does that because he's showing a pattern now. So I can't be surprised now in the future when he does this. When you go against the best player in the league and don't give him the ball, and you've done this several times now, why am I going to support that? I'm supporting bad behavior at this point.
Yeah.
You're incentivizing. But herein lies the problem. everybody in the league besides Bill Belichick seems to do this. And this is the real problem.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can go roster position and actually feel like the Rams should have beat the Kansas City Chiefs or the Los Angeles. I mean, the Patriots should have beat the Rams or the Kansas City Chiefs. But they got it done.
Do you believe it's pre?
No, see, this is funny. I watch it
or pre-adaptation.
No. I don't think. I thought you meant do. I think it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
No. I think it's preparation.
Yeah.
And what I felt like, and what I was bumping my gums, and I was dead wrong, was saying before the game was the thing about McVay is he has the guys ready.
Right.
Every game you've seen them this season, he has his team ready.
And this is why it's his fault, because his game plan is not together. They're ready to execute.
His game plan, they are ready, and they showed they were ready.
Yeah, they're ready to execute they were ready. Whatever he has, but they're following his lead and his script.
Yeah,
and his script,
and that's why it works. It's because that's why it works. It's because the team buys into his.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Patriots hasn't had like a very like prominent defense like
in a decade.
Right.
Well, and not only that.
So to be able to hold the Rams to 3 points, all of a sudden it's like, is that going to be something that's just going to be
look at this
a poster child or something? Like you're going to be like, oh.
I mean, you can argue it's the best defensive performance in the history of the Super Bowl.
Almost, right?
Who gave up less than 3?
The Rams.
The Bears
were. I'm talking about play wide because
No.
The game is so watered down now. It can't even compare back in the
Of course, but what I'm saying is if you just look at the points, it's pretty undeniable. Let's see what our caller. We have a longtime Patriots fan who can't wait to jump on. Do it for the tipper, post Super Bowl edition. How you feeling about Ram time or the Patriots celebration all over the place?
I'm feeling good about the LA Raiders. Rams.
That's supposed to be a joke about the Raiders, brother? You think that's funny?
Yeah, it is funny, brother, because all the Raider fans became Ram fans real quick.
Yeah, I can't front on that. But the Raiders, but for good reason, the Raiders, the Raiders don't even belong to the conversation anymore. And this coming from a lifelong.
Raiders?
Oh, they're the London team.
Oh, okay.
They're the new London team. Anyways, what were you going to say? Well, how do you feel about this game? You tell me this. How does this game influence how you feel about Tom Brady as a quarterback?
That dude's a GOAT. I'm glad he did win.
You're putting it to bed.
I'm glad he did win.
He's better than Joe Montana. You're putting it to rest.
Yes, he's better than Joe Montana. He's the Michael Jordan on the football field.
Wow.
What did he do tonight to make you think
exactly? Why?
Because 2 weeks ago they played against the Chiefs. They put up numbers.
He didn't.
This week they played against the number 1 defense or number 2 defense.
They don't have the number 2 defense?
Right.
The Rams don't?
No, the Rams are in the middle of the pack. They just got everybody back now.
The Rams is a elite defense. They're in the Super Bowl. They played a tight game, and he was still able to help New England win.
I don't know. You sound like you towing the company line on that one, Tipper. I don't know. We got
you bagging right now. I didn't see Tommy. And I like Tommy.
I was about to say I actually
love
Tom Brady's work. I love because I like people who are clutch.
Yeah.
So I just like seeing people clutch up. In this particular situation, I mean, he got here because somebody else did not clutch up, meaning
somebody made a mistake.
Because somebody made a mistake, and he should have thrown his 3rd interception of the game against the Chiefs. That's neither here nor there. He was in the Super Bowl, as he always is. 9 Super Bowls is absurd, first and foremost. You cannot front on Tom Brady or Bill Belichick at all. But tonight's performance, I feel like, is just slightly better than what Peyton Manning did to manage the game against the Carolina Panthers a couple of years ago when he had a monster defense. Right. To hold the Rams to 3 points is nobody in the world saw this one coming. Right. I bet you Belichick didn't even see this one coming. I bet you Belichick thought to himself, you know what? If we can hold these guys to 21, Tommy will give me 23 points. He'll give me 24 points. Right. I bet. Maybe we get 7 from the defense or something here or there. I bet you he thought, you know what, we can pressure the kid, and it'll be, that'll be what it is. But pressure him into some mistakes. But almost pitching a shutout, nobody saw that coming.
Amen.
Nobody's seen that coming. And you're right. You're dead right about that with it being the Peyton Manning championship or Super Bowl.
Well, why are you acting like he just tore the cover off the ball?
No, I didn't say that, fool. You did.
No, you did. You oh man, he had a great game. He's the greatest of all time. This dude barely got 200 yards.
9 times. So if LeBron James make it there 9 times, then what?
LeBron James just about made it there 9 times.
Right.
In a row.
Yeah, in a row. And not only that, LeBron James has been playing basketball against good teams. The Patriots have they play in one of the weakest divisions in football. Now let's bring that up. They have the Jets in their division, they have the Miami Dolphins, and they have the Buffalo Bills. And none of those teams have been good for the past 10 years.
I'm not knocking that, but you still got to get out there and play.
All right, let's talk about this. Mm-hmm. I feel like the ball in the end zone should have been caught.
Should have been, but that was a bad pass.
Even though there was separation, even though I felt like Gilmore grabbed his elbow a little bit early.
Oh, I'm talking about the other one by Brandon Cook.
So I felt like okay, it is what it is. But then I felt like he ran back to the huddle and said, "You know what? Hey, dog, run it back and just throw it up. I'll go get it." So Goff goes back to the huddle, throws it up. And this dude ain't even looking for the pill. You just told me to run it back.
But I think that he just threw it a little premature. He threw it premature because he got that pressure from the edge, and he wasn't expecting that. He didn't get it last time.
I need to look though.
Yeah.
If I
he should have threw it out of the back of the end zone.
100%, he should have thrown it out the back of the end zone. You have to overthrow that ball instead of underthrow.
But this is once again on McVay because McVay should have took the pressure off him. If they
even in the red zone, if they run that ball with Todd Gurley, like they've been doing all year. You saw when they ran that counter play on, he busted him up for 16 like it wasn't nothing.
Amen.
And I just told you.
I got something to say about Todd Gurley.
What you got to say about Todd Gurley, brother?
Yeah. I think TG either got a bad back, a bad knee, or a bad hip.
You think something? So you think it's bunk, and they're all just keeping it under wraps?
I think it's under wrap, absolutely. Because how you play about 20 plays in the championship game. You got a week off.
2 weeks off.
You come to the Super Bowl 2 weeks off, and you come back and come on.
And you only get 10 touches?
He didn't have 20 plays in that game either.
I don't think he had 20 plays against the Saints because if you remember, they benched him against the Saints.
Yeah.
Exactly. He on the exercise bike.
He on that.
Oh, my God. Trying to get loose. I'm trying to loosen this hip hop.
Come on now.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree. Something's not right.
I don't believe it.
I want to believe something's not right.
You want to believe that, but I believe that it's bad game planning. And just like I listened to McVay talk about, it wasn't in the flow of the game. He is the flow of the game. He dictates the pace of the game. He dictates the pace of the league.
Give Bill Belichick Todd Gurley and see if you guys see if you ever beat the Patriots.
Right. Even Andy Reid would find a way to win with.
Don't be silly. You know good well that Andy Reid would find a way to lose.
He would try.
He'll find it.
He'll try.
Andy Reid's gonna definitely find a way to lose.
He's gonna find a way to lose.
With Sean McVay, you really think that he's gonna put in C.J. Anderson over Todd Gurley?
He did, and not only that, he didn't even get the ball to C.J. Anderson.
Right, so that
Sony Michel. That doesn't let me know anything.
Todd Gurley was hurt.
No, because in the past he ran the ball with C.J. Anderson. He stuffed the ball down.
He sure did.
Down the other team's throat with C.J. Anderson, getting the ball like 20 to 30 times against the Cowboys.
The same game plan against the Cowboys beats the Patriots.
Exactly. Tonight, between Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson, Sony Michel carried the ball more than them put together.
Yeah.
Sony Michel had 18 carries. And I do believe that
because Todd Gurley is hurt. Because he was on the sideline looking for that exercise bike again.
Just looking for that bike.
Todd Gurley said that if you called his number, he was ready.
Now, I have one more thing to add before we move on from you. Do it for the tipper. How did you feel about Big Boy getting one verse off in the halftime show?
Man, that was so terrible.
That was terrible.
All them Atlanta rappers, so down, Goody Mob, he got one sentence off.
He didn't even get his whole verse off. I think he got one sentence off. He just got out. He got out the lack and said, "Daddy fat sex," and that was about all he had. That was unacceptable. For
he get more play time at the strip club in Atlanta.
The Magic City. All right, well, we'll leave you to the canyon because you got a little bit of an echo, but we appreciate it. And, this is a very anticlimactic, very disappointing Super Bowl to watch. And not even just because the team that I was supporting didn't win. Unfortunately, I don't even care either way. And I love being turned up after a game because I care. I don't have to follow. I could go get turned up at a soccer game.
Exactly.
Because I'm a sports addict.
Yeah.
And this game, I didn't see. You know what I didn't see? Now breaking it down?
What's that?
I did not see greatness in this game.
Yeah.
At all. Anywhere.
I didn't see greatness anywhere.
I saw greatness from Wade Phillips.
I saw greatness from Wade Phillips. I saw greatness from both punters.
Right.
Yes.
Both punters had great games.
Hecker's punt was unbelievable.
Hit that right bounce.
Man, he put him in scoring. He almost put him in scoring position just by that punt. I mean, because it was a game of field position. And in those games, because this is like a throwback game, if you're playing field position, you need to run the ball to maintain that. Right. And the Patriots actually committed more to the run because their quarterback is on the decline. And I can understand that. But you have to be able to complement that. And they didn't do it. Right. I mean, come on, man. This is too far. This is terrible football for the Super Bowl.
I thought it was a great football game because it was just.
I mean, finally
it was like a chess
defense,
match,
right? I mean, we always talk about offense, but it was nice to see some defense.
It's nice to see some defense,
right?
And
it's boring. But
I'm not. Well, see, that's the thing.
I like defensive games.
I'm not mad at the defensive game in any sport, to be honest. I was just telling. So my mother has turned into a basketball junkie, and she loves watching basketball. Okay. She can't stand the beard. But she loves watching basketball.
Come on, man. No,
I'm just telling you, moms ain't feeling the beard,
Harden.
And you're Houston Rockets.
The Rockets.
But listen to this. I was telling her the other night because we watched a game. I can't remember who it was. It was like last night's game. I want to say the Denver Nuggets. It was the Nuggets and the Rockets, and the Nuggets put up 81 points in the first half.
Yeah, that was no defense.
And I told my mother, I said, you know what? The games I used to watch in college, when the Knicks used to play the Bulls every Sunday.
Right.
Or they either played the Bulls every Sunday, or the Knicks played the Miami Heat with Allen Houston versus Alonzo Mourning.
Or the Indiana Pacers.
Every Sunday. Every single Sunday.
Actually, the Rockets made up for it last night.
I'm telling you, at
we
which
played
point
Utah last night, and we
at which point the final score of games with Michael Jordan on the court was like 91-83.
Scoring 100 was tough.
Scoring oh my God, in the East, 100.
Well, nobody was shooting threes though.
You couldn't just lock.
Exactly.
It was locked. It's locked. I'm in you. All right, do it for the tipper. We'll catch you sooner than later. Thanks for your call.
All right, Ozone. Holla.
Late.
Yeah, and there's the lack of defense now is kind of incredible.
Oh man. Everybody just.
But let's hear what McVay had to say directly about the Super Bowl.
There's really no other way to put it. I'm pretty numb right now, but definitely I got outcoached, and I didn't do nearly good enough for a football team. The thing that's so tough about all of this is that, the finality to it. Usually when you get a chance, if you go through some adversity, you can bounce back right away. This one's going to stick with you and just stings in your gut. And like I said, I'm still kind of numb right now, but I have so much love for these players and these coaches, and that's where, it really, it eats at you because you feel like you didn't do your part to help them.
How you doing, brother? Live on the Ozone. What's your name, caller? We hear you're here via Eric Jazzman Harland has given you the call-in number to talk post Super Bowl activity.
Is that what happened tonight? The Super Bowl?
It wasn't super. It was just a bowl.
Well, you know where it was played, right?
ATL.
I don't know if you've ever been down there, but you know what? I didn't mind the game. I'm going to be honest with you.
But do you mind the Mets lineup this year? But we'll get back to that later. We'll get back to that later.
I had the over-under on 30 seconds before you'd ask me about that. Hold on. How many second basemen does your team have? Ask you that.
It's almost as many outfielders.
Isn't that the key to winning baseball games? Second baseman?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Let's stay.
Have we not figured it out?
Let's stay on task. We'll get to baseball in a second. But let's stay on task. Now, you're a New Yorker. You can't enjoy Boston winning another championship. We just had a Boston caller text in and say it's been a whole 97 days of drought for Boston championships. He doesn't know how the city pulled through, but they're Boston strong, so they did it.
Is this a clean show? Can I curse? Or
the choice is yours, brother. Do what you need to do.
Okay, well,
represent yourself.
Boston. No, listen, I'm not. I have a complicated relationship with Boston. Of course, I don't want them to win. But as a Giants fan, I don't mind. It was a lot cooler when the Eagles didn't beat the Patriots and Eli was the only one who had ever beaten the Patriots. But, doesn't matter how many rings Brady wins, he never beat Eli. So I don't really care about the Patriots like that, to be honest with you.
Well, it sounds like you're grasping at straws for
but the rest of the world does care.
But the rest of the world and the history books do care.
Well, listen, great quarterback, probably the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't know about best, but probably the greatest quarterback of all time.
That's a great way to put that.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put that.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, there's not a lot of guys who want over him. And certainly
in a big game
at the rings. I don't know, man.
No. Listen, in a big game, Tom Brady has proven your money is very safe to be bet on him because it will not come down. Tom Brady will not lose you the game. He will not lose your money if you bet on Tom Brady.
Right.
They may lose, but Tom Brady has now, I think this is the 9th Super Bowl. I do believe Tom Brady has left the field 8 times with his team in the lead. I can't front on Tom Brady. I'll put y'all in the lead. If you can hold the lead, hold it. If you can't, what can you do?
But the thing is, what I always tell Patriot fans is you could have easily lost every single one of those Super Bowls you won, and you could have easily won every single one of the ones that you lost.
This is true.
And without the Cup rule, which was the first one, mind you, who knows what happens if that.
Don't get me started. Don't even get me started. Right. If you may want to check our last post because I go on a massive rant about this being the luckiest franchise in sports history, which all started from the Tuck rule because I'm a Raiders fan and Charles Woodson is probably my favorite Raider of all time. And and honestly, this sparks a generational championship run where I think maybe one of the most beautiful things that we can say about this group between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick is they have a bond. I got 2 dogs that are brothers. The dogs communicate with each other without speaking. You can see it all the time. They do it all the time. This what it feels like at this point when you watch Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They have bought into each other's system so thoroughly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so tough.
Right.
Man.
Well, that's also that goes to a larger debate of like, did Brady make Belichick or did Belichick make Brady or without either one of them? I mean, is Brady even close to the career that he has if he's under somebody else?
No, definitely he's not. He's a system quarterback, and that's like well documented.
But he's clutch. But
he's got heart. He's not a great athlete. You know what I'm saying?
But he's got crazy heart.
But he's
crazy heart
he has
and crazy
heart.
IQ.
And I don't think that he definitely Belichick. He needs Belichick more than Belichick needs him.
And it'll be interesting to see if Belichick retires after he bounces because, honestly, it feels now, every time that there's talk about him retiring, Tom Brady retiring, it feels more and more like they're planning a group retirement. Like, you know what I mean? And just bounce.
Well, and, they made him get rid of Garoppolo, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably bounce. I'd probably, if Brady...
He goes away now as the greatest coach of all time, even though there's still some debate about Brady being the greatest quarterback of all time, even though most people now with this win will not feel like there's a debate because he holds 6 rings. Yeah. I think West Coasters, including Tom Brady, feel like Joe Montana's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, well, Omar, let me ask you this. Like Phil Jackson did in basketball, could you ruin a legacy like Belichick's if you were to stay on and just massively fail in another venture, or is it already written?
Oh, it's already written.
No, I think it's written. I think how many rings does Belichick have? Does he have 8 rings?
He had one with the Giants, 2 with the Giants. Right?
That's what I mean. I think he has 8 or 9 rings.
Because you know what? Most people look at him as an offensive genius, but he's actually a defensive guru.
Him and Bill Parcells, he took Bill Parcells to the next level.
Yeah.
As far as he didn't take Bill Parcells, but what the Bill Parcells philosophy is, He studied it, he mastered it, and he put his own twist on it with experience. And now you just watch the guy completely shut down an offense that realistically should be unstoppable. Right. They have enough weapons that if one thing isn't working, something else should be working.
You can shift gears.
Yeah.
Listen, I totally agree with you, but that also goes to what I was trying to say earlier is I really didn't mind watching this game. Like, I know Belichick was going to try and scheme the most brilliant defensive scheme of his career. You had the young guy McVay trying to scheme how to stop Brady. Like, I didn't mind the defensive struggle. Got to be honest with you.
No, I enjoyed the defensive struggle as well. My biggest thing is that actually the Rams have the pieces, the personnel to beat the Patriots. It's just that they played out of character. So if you go out there and then you start playing a game
they played out of character.
Yeah, and you can't.
We've been watching the Rams for 18 weeks now.
So what's with Gurley? What's with why no?
This is
Gurley?
what we're trying to figure out. They're saying that there's nothing wrong with him. Gurley's saying there's nothing wrong with him, and somehow or another, Todd Gurley gets 10 touches. This makes no sense at all.
And honestly,
he was the most sure bet the entire season.
Most
the
sure
only
bet
running back where no one else touched the ball on his team. He's been every carry, and now you're in the Super Bowl and he's getting out touched by fat C.J. Anderson. That's what's happening.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly.
Yeah. Your phone's about to die.
I honestly feel like, even when you're talking about him being injured, which everybody keeps acting like he didn't play. He played in the game and he was successful when he played. And if he was hurt, then he shouldn't have been in the game at all. So obviously, even when they brought him in the second half and he ran and peeled off a lot of yards, there's nothing wrong with Ty Gurley. I believe that there's nothing wrong with him. I just felt like
I think it was McVay getting cute.
Completely.
Which is the same thing that Andy Reid did a couple weeks ago and decided he was going to outsmart Bill Belichick by giving him the ball to start the game when he's got the highest powered offense and no defense.
All right.
The Rams could defer. He can't defer.
Yes.
No, and once again, Tom Brady didn't lose in the game. He didn't do much except throw it to Welker 10 yards down the field every time.
Or Edelman.
How about Edelman?
Sorry, Welker. God, I'm 2012.
It's all good.
You got me all riled up about the Giants and time that Brady overthrew Welker.
All right, you got 2 minutes. Lay it on me. What are the Mets doing this year? Is it real or is it fake? You got 2 minutes. Go.
I don't know if you've heard this before, but it's our year. Finally, after all the years of heartbreak, definitely no one will get hurt. Everyone's going to play second base. It's going to be great. Jeff McNeil's going to hit 400. Peter Alonso's going to hit 75 home runs.
All right, so what's the real take? Hurry up. You got a minute and a half left.
What am I supposed to tell you, man? Every year we go into this thing thinking the Mets have a good team, and they get hurt. I don't know what you want me to tell you. They have the pitching. I love the moves they made in the bullpen. Like I said, they have 100 second basemen. I like Wilson Ramos behind the plate. If they stay healthy, it's going to be depending on who gets Harper.
I don't even think
they're not even in the race to get Harper.
No. He's not saying that. He's saying depending on as far as the National League East,
and they're not even bringing up Peter Alonso probably because that kid's in minor leagues and they're going to do that Super 2 only, so they're going to hold him down for a couple of months.
2 weeks? No, it's not going to be. He'll come up. Brody said he could win the job out of camp, and he's been keeping his word and being pretty transparent. So
here's my thing. I like what they did in the bullpen a lot, especially with the way that the game works now, the way that managers like to use their bullpen now. Those three guys, as bad as Justin Wilson was for the Cubs, he was actually back to his Detroit Tigers type self last year. He was really good last year. And they got Juris back, which was a surprise for me, but I thought it was the right move because Juris was actually effective last year, especially for the A's when they got rid of him.
He's a great pitcher. I'm glad to have him back.
And this kid Diaz is the best closer in baseball. And
listen, I was shocked as anybody when they went out and started pulling the trigger.
Honestly, I think the wink link may be Robinson Cano, to be honest, because I don't know if that cool style of play that he has is actually going to help the young guys like Amin Rosario and these other guys actually make moves. You know what I mean? I don't know if it rubs off or not.
And how is he going to perform off the juice?
Yeah. I mean,
and how does he perform off the juice?
They still got Todd Frazier. I mean, they got some clubhouse guys, I guess in quotes.
If Thor and DeGrom stay healthy and they give you that great 1-2 horse work, they could be.
I think it's about the back end. I mean,
I'm a firm believer. You still need. Oh, you said you think it's about the back end of the rotation. Sorry,
Stephen Matz.
And let me ask you this: I don't know. I didn't check. I figured nothing went down today because of the Super Bowl. But Gio Gonzalez didn't sign anywhere yet, right?
You know what? I wouldn't know. No. I don't think so because I'm with you. I haven't checked because it's the Super Bowl.
Well, that's the last piece. That's what I want. He's always pitched well in Citi Field. They could use another lefty, and then we would not have to bring Jason Vargas anywhere near Citi Field ever again. And
you know what though, Gio, even though he's up and down in big games, Gio is actually he's pretty good as far as health goes. He's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Gio doesn't get hurt a lot. But
he's got literally like the greatest numbers in Citi Field history. He's
really?
in the ballpark for some reason. Yeah,
you signed him.
My brother said until you signed him.
Well, right, yeah, no, it'll all go. I mean, he'll be hurt. We won't know. Career-ending injury when he walks in the building.
Jeez, it's so harsh.
Sounds like you're gonna give it to him.
It sounds like you're about to give him to Tanya Harding.
I remember having conversations with you before. Everyone's always like, "Oh, you Mets fans are so pessimistic," and then what happens?
It seems like you guys might have got rid of that strength and conditioning coach that was pulling everybody's hamstring and growing, but we'll see. Definitely got to do something.
Well, hold on. And you also told me Conforto was never going to be good ever again.
I never told you that.
Hey, you said that injury, people don't come back from that injury.
Wow, you said that?
No. I was talking. We had this conversation about Ace. We had this conversation about Matt. This was about the thoracic outlet.
Conforto. It was about Conforto.
No, this is thoracic outlet. Say it again.
You said he wasn't going to have the power that he had because nobody comes back and still has the power whatever surgery he got.
He had a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah. But no. I was talking to. I remember having a conversation with you about thoracic outlet and about how few pitchers have come back after thoracic outlet
maybe
to
like
actually
2 or 3.
Yeah, like maybe like 2 or 3 since they've been given that surgery out that actually come back and are effective.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you one other question since you're out in L.A. to switch topics a little bit. The Matt Harvey deal that the Angels gave him. What was that?
Yo, man, honest to God, the Angels are a poorly run organization.
They really are.
And I actually
they can't
love
even get their logistics together.
I love Matt on a personal level. I love Matt. I'm happy to have him, but the Angels at one point in about 2014 to 16 honestly had maybe 12 outfielders on the roster. And starters, like they had,
and we're still looking for more.
And then they went and signed Justin Upton. And on top of that, they had so many guys. It's a mismanaged organization. I think the game may have slightly passed Mike Scioscia by, but he lives off of the 2002 World Series, which was a real highlight. Which was one that technically he wasn't supposed to win, and he's been living off of that forever. I think at the very least what they would do well to do is to get a different GM so that Mike Scioscia doesn't make all personnel decisions as well as player decisions. Gone. Yeah, but what I'm saying is this is that time. And now what you're seeing is that sort of culture has been established. Artie Moreno has seen it as okay for that sort of culture to be established. And we'll see where it goes.
To recycle players.
In real life, I think that the Angels have the best player in all of baseball, and they don't play him. And I'm not talking about Mike Trout. I'm talking about Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is the best player, in my opinion, because he can throw 97 and he can hit. But they were playing him once every 5 days. This kid might have hit 40 bombs this year if he was in the lineup every day.
And he wouldn't be having Tommy John surgery.
And he would not be having Tommy John surgery. But instead, they lied to him, and they told him that he was going to be able to play both ways.
And he pitches every 7 days.
And you pitch every 7 days, just like you did in Japan. But instead, they lied to him. And now he's got Tommy John, so he can just swing it next year. And the kid is fast, by the way. I don't know if you know this. He's like really fast.
That's the whole reason I brought him up is because when you think about it from the outside perspective, these guys have a generational player.
He's a
generational player.
One-of-a-kind player that's never been seen since the...
He's talking about Trout. I agree with you. They got 2 one-of-a-kind guys.
And nobody cares.
Because they can't even get to the playoffs.
No. When's the last time they've been in the playoffs?
That year the Kansas City Royals beat you guys in the World Series.
Oh, stop. No, see, it all leads back to that.
All roads.
No, but it does, though. Because if you remember, and actually Mike Scioscia was right in this because Mike Scioscia said something about there was the delay. The delay. What happened was the team, you remember, they had like a week, like 10 days off or something like that, and the Royals played that crazy game. No. They played the A's. Mm-hmm. They played the A's, and they played that crazy wild card game, and they rolled it. They came in hot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then the Astros had that. I'm sorry to bring Eric into this, but if the Astros would have took them out first, maybe they wouldn't have lost to the Mets or beat the Mets.
What can you do? I mean, honestly, realistically, you guys, I still to this day, I haven't seen a better team than that Kansas City Royals team, me personally.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, that team, every single night, somebody was able to get it done. I've never seen that before. And I've watched a lot of baseball, and I have a lot of teams in my mind that are right there with them. But that team was like,
Toronto Blue Jays.
The Toronto Blue Jays were a powerhouse of dominance. The Toronto Blue Jays had like 9 or 10 Hall of Famers on the roster. These guys had a bunch of ragtag fugitives and young kids that just believed. But
Omar, I was in the stadium, Game 5 when they lost.
Unbelievable. That game was unbelievable.
Look, a lot of Mets fans like, oh, well, the Mets had a lead in every single one of those games. There's no reason they should have lost those games, blah, blah, blah. And that might have some truth to it. But the Kansas City Royals had the perfect team. They never struck out. They put the ball in play, and
they never struck out.
Like you know what? Astros.
They're. Oh, I was going to say they're the last team of this generation, but the Astros didn't strike out a lot either.
Didn't strike out. They went from last to first and not striking out.
Really, the Red Sox didn't strike out a lot. None of these teams that win the World Series strike out a lot.
Look,
and they play defense.
Put the ball in play. Beautiful things happen when you put the ball in play.
Don't be like the Dodgers.
And it's all about swinging for the fences and either hitting a home run or striking out.
It's disgusting. You know? We could do a whole podcast on that. It's disgusting.
Shooting kids these days. Trying to hit home runs.
That's it.
Welcome to the party.
That's it. Welcome to the millennials. And welcome to Tom Brady picking up his 6th ring.
I'll pass.
Oh, man. All right. You got anything else to add?
Man, no, I can go back to watching my Bob Ross now. My story.
Are you at the studio? Plug your studio real quick. Talk about the studio. We got jazz great Eric Harland here and his business partner on the line. Tell the people about the studio.
Oh, GSI, amazing studio in NYC on 29th Street between 6th and 7th Avenue.
What is the service that you guys offer there for entertainers, for fellow musicians, for people like us who are on the road when we need to do a podcast?
Oh, man, we offer everything. You can come through. You can do your podcast there, man. You can go there and just, bless the space, And, you're close to Penn Station, close to Madison Square Garden.
Very convenient.
Very convenient.
And a very warm studio.
Sure is.
And for the sports junkie in all of us, they have the game on. Exactly. So you can record, lay down whatever you need to lay down.
Exactly.
And then you can make sure that you don't miss the game.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have it any other way. That's really the only reason we go there, is to hang out.
It's more of a clubhouse than a music studio.
You think I'm lying to you?
No, it's good. It's good times, and we're creating very creative music. Just keeping the world as conscious as possible.
Yes.
You
know what? I felt like this in what I watched you put down last night. Honestly, that was good music. That was really good music. And when the music speaks, now I feel like so much in society is about noise. And one thing that I love about jazz, and I think you have to have a certain patience and or maturity to understand the jazz or to accept the jazz, if you will, is that the music really does speak without words.
That's true.
In a lot of the jazz, you know what I mean? And like the other night when I went down there, man, I didn't hear anybody on the microphone say one word except for to address the crowd in between songs.
That's true.
Yet each song told a story.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a listening culture, at least now, because I feel like the millennials are just kind of bringing back that culture of like, oh, we're actually interested in what you're doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because before it was like, oh, the cliche of, oh, you're playing jazz. So jazz became, the title of jazz was also attached to, like, you had to sound a certain way.
Okay.
Whereas like now, it's not about that. The understanding of what jazz is the way that I feel like it was maybe supposedly supposed to be understood. Like it was the free improvisation, or the fact that it wasn't pigeonholed to something or to anything.
Yes.
It was just wide
It's open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times you think like, maybe an audience won't get that. Maybe they don't want to, sit through a 90-minute set and be like, oh, okay, all right, I'm here for that.
The audience was rapt last night.
Man.
They were completely captive.
Yeah,
young people too. A lot of young people were there. Played at the Blue Well. It's a fairly new venue here in Los Angeles that is, like, honestly, between, I would say, Blue Whale followed by Herb Alpert's Vibrato Grill are like the places to go see jazz here in Los Angeles. And there was a lot of young people at the Whale. I was surprised at how many. There was a line. I had to try to use my juice card to get in. There was an actual line to people outside the door.
Hey man, you Omar, man.
I had to. That's why I went and told them, but that didn't work out. I told them I was with E. They were like, "Oh, hold on, let me see if you're on the list." I was like, "I may not be on the list, but he told me to come down." I had to, I felt like I was in college again.
You're always on the list. No, it's.
I didn't get the invitation out to LA, man. Josh was there.
You
guys were all there, man.
Yeah, me and Josh had a good time.
Yeah, Josh was saying.
Y'all left, man. Now I got FOMO.
It's hard. I mean,
we're giving you a preview for the baseball season.
There we go.
Oh my God, that was uncalled for. I'm not hurt. I didn't hurt my arm like watching the game.
Sorry, go ahead, E. We playing.
No. It's not so much to say. That's the thing about I would say personally being a jazz artist is sometimes that's the downfall is that we're just too open.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no
hard structure.
There's no structure. You know what I mean? Like even when we try to pay tribute to a structure, we find a way to like dissipate that structure. We like, oh, okay, there's the structure. Like let's play with it and let's play all the way around it.
So like the structure is the starting point?
It's a starting point. It's the subject for a conversation. And then the conversation can go anywhere. Like you're not held to just like whatever the standard of the conversation is. Like you can then move that to something else. It's just a starting point.
Now, if I make a football analogy, it's like when the play comes in, you react to what the defense does. You have an idea what you're going to do, but then something else happens. Take advantage of it. That's how it goes.
Right.
Good analogy.
And now, yeah, good enough. And now, and now, the cats that you played with last night,
right?
You played with them all the time, or was this how does that kind of stuff come about?
Oh, that comes about just kind of based on.
What was my man's name? Was Ben Wexler?
Ben Wendell.
Ben Wendell.
Yeah, Ben Wendell. Ben Wendell normally plays with this band called Knee Body, which is kind of a more like progressive, not jazz, but that's the thing. I don't even know what genre to put them in, but it's a progressive group.
Okay.
And so, we're all getting up there in age. And so now Ben is like, you know what? I really want to do the music that I want to do. And, he found a way to put this band together with me and Aaron Parks and Matt Brewer and Gilad Hexelman, which is a great guitar player. And, he has this project called the Seasons Project, and it's amazing. He's been putting it into works for like the last, I want to say maybe like about 3 years.
Okay.
He started it on YouTube, and I remember doing one with him, but it was the month of April, and this was like maybe 2 years ago, and it was just me and him doing duo. And then he started like these duo projects. He was like, okay, I'm gonna name each tune a month of the year. And now it just really took off for some reason.
I remember last night they announced it. One was called September.
Dude, the whole set was every month of the year. It was like, okay, now we're going to play January. Now we're going to play March. And you're like, goddamn. And it works. Like, it's something, it's relative to people. Like, people can be like, oh, wow. Oh, March. And it may be because of, like, astrology or whatever. Like,
right.
People feel like they can.
Right. But then you put that on them, and the people have to interpret it. That's up to the audience.
Man, it's a different way of dealing with it, versus like pop culture, which is, you try to condense a subject matter within like a 3-minute song, which is very like,
restrictive. It would seem like.
It's not. I wouldn't say restrictive, but it's. I feel like pop culture has found a way to take an idea and then they can present it to you within 3 minutes. It's like, here it is, from top to bottom. Whereas jazz is, we can't, I shouldn't say we can't do that. It's just we choose not
That's not the goal.
You don't put yourself in a box.
Which is interesting because you're listening, you're on the horn with two cats who love 70s funk music that has the 9 to 12 minute version.
Bruh.
So it's like, This is as good as it gets.
Man,
I mean, knee deep is about 15 minutes long, ain't it?
And all 15 is high.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the vibe. It's like, you want to be able to really chill and kind of be invited into the space. And that's what I feel like what jazz is becoming now is that musicians are inviting the public into the space, or jazz has always invited the public into the space, but I think now maybe people are listening more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, well, that's GSI Studios representative, owner, and smooth, soothsaying jazz drummer, Mr. Eric Harland. Man, that's a smooth voice, Jack. Very smooth.
OZONE.
We're going to get us a new hotline.
Hey.
All right, well, we'll talk Mets with you soon. Thanks for calling in. And everybody, we're going to put the word out about GSI Studios. Hopefully, we're sending some more people your way. And we can come do us a podcast your way. Yes. Get you live on the mic.
Talking about that for years now.
Yeah. Let's see what we can do. Could be this year.
Man, we'll go to a game. We'll go to a Dodgers Mets game here, and we'll do a show.
Easy call.
All right.
All right, now. Peace.
Thanks, Dan.
Later, guys.
All right, bro.
Yeah, man. This, I wish I had more to be hyped up about. But if I was just sitting here listening to how smooth your voice was, and a rage built inside of me. Because I realized that Todd Gurley didn't get the football the whole game, and I feel like a broken record because this is exactly what happened last year when I watched them lose to the Falcons.
Yep.
The Rams' total rushing for the Super Bowl was 62 yards.
How many carries?
Let me see. Said the blind man. I'll have to dig that up, but I know that the Patriots had 154 on the ground, and the Patriots had 407 yards total yards, and the Rams had 260.
Yeah, I just want to know about what's happening on the ground.
I will let you know what's happening in that ground game. That ground game is looking like 18 carries. 1 by Robert Woods, 7 by C.J. Anderson, and 10 by Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley gave you 35 yards on 10 carries, and C.J. Anderson gave you 22 yards on 7 carries.
Man. So the ground game was effective.
It was effective. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying
3.6, 3.7 yards per carry.
There wasn't nothing wrong with Todd Gurley, as far as I could see. And if there was something wrong with him, you wouldn't have him in the game at all because he's pretty much your whole organization.
Yeah.
So why would you put him out there just to be a decoy and maybe take a chance of getting hurt by trying to block somebody rushing? I don't believe there's something wrong with it. It's just a bad game plan.
Wow.
Well, just like you said earlier, when your defense is able to hold Tom Brady to like 10, 13 points.
This is supposed to be a blowout.
Exactly.
That's supposed to be a dub at the least. But
at the least,
it should be, as per how the Rams play, that should have been a blowout.
He didn't even throw a touchdown.
Right. Didn't even get him a tug.
Although Next Victim was talking about he had a great game. I don't know what that was all about.
But it goes back to it. There's the allure.
Yeah.
People have the allure, and Tommy Terrific, we can't even call him Touchdown Tommy on this one. Tommy Terrific has the allure of,
tearing it up.
Of tearing it.
Woo! Dude, you're tearing it up. Rage on, bro.
Right on. 6 rings, dude.
So basically, a coach can out-coach themselves.
This is what we just saw. Yeah. We just saw a coach out-coach himself.
Yes, and McVay actually did the exact opposite of what you were talking about with your music.
Right.
He sure did.
Right. He didn't allow the rest of the band to participate.
He didn't
allow the listeners.
It was all in his head. He did not invite anybody in.
No invitation.
He kept them out. None.
He shut it down. No guest list.
Tom Brady had 262 yards and 1 interception.
What? Oh, man, come on.
What was your favorite commercial?
Honestly, my favorite commercial was probably that NFL 100 commercial.
That was mine.
It was
I love that.
Awesome,
man.
Had everybody there.
I mean, everybody was in that commercial.
Barry gave you the spin move.
Just nice juke, step back juke.
Yeah.
Hey, man, look.
Had Jim Brown.
Zonka.
Yeah.
Franco Harris made the catch.
The immaculate.
Terry Bradshaw. That was great how he took off his rings. He said, "Hey, hold these for me." Had young Saquon Barkley in there.
Yeah.
Man.
Now, this is going to sound totally ignorant. Who was the woman at the end?
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Now, was she known, or was that just like to throw in something for the Ernie? Obviously, doesn't know. It's cool, Ernie. No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought
I liked it though.
Yeah, I just thought I didn't know. I thought maybe she was somebody famous from like a gymnast or something because she was very small.
Yeah,
there's somebody I didn't know. But the commercial was dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay out of that one.
Yeah. The commercial was dope. I liked it a lot.
Commercial.
I thought that I'd like to watch it again, as a matter of fact.
And I also like the dude.
Maybe
dude.
Take me a Stella Artrot.
The dude was out there. Had your girl SJP was on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Great, some great work. Some solid. Those people.
The commercial was better than the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, the biscuit costs more than the bird.
Can you believe that?
It's all about the defense, baby. It's all about.
I love the defensive struggle, just like I love a pitching duel.
Right.
Like, this wasn't even. I didn't even consider this a defensive struggle as the way that you usually see a defensive struggle, because you see a team not playing up to their potential, not because the team is stopping them, but because they're choosing to hold back. Pretty much. I'm not saying that they threw the game or anything like that. It's just that.
It was an oversight.
Yeah, it was an oversight. And
an unacceptable oversight.
Yeah, he said that he got out coached.
He said he admitted it. He wore it.
Yeah.
He wore it. Now, moving on to boxing really quickly. We had a fight last week that we didn't get to talk about, which we need to put some time in about. And it was a PBC championship fight with Keith Thurman, former champion, former WBC belt holding champion, who, in my opinion, you said you don't feel this way, but in my opinion, has fought all comers since he's been at 147. I don't know. I would love for you to pull up who he didn't fight, because
I would love for you to pull up who he did fight.
Sean Porter, and he beat him.
Okay, that's one fighter.
Danny Garcia, and he beat him. Pull up Keith's record and show me who was in the division that he didn't fight. That's all I'm saying. And then he's been out of the ring for 2 years because of injury. And
I don't think it was because of injury. He was injured, but then it wasn't all because of injury. He just decided to take him a little vacay.
I don't know if that was the case or not, but it didn't work out well for him when he came back, because he came back against, what was not supposed to be a layup, but was clearly supposed to be a tune-up fight with Josecito Lopez, who's I won't say as far as to say he's a shot fighter, but he's definitely on the downside of his career. Got a lot of heart. And one thing that we watched that was beautiful in the pre-fight warm-up was his trainer, Robert Garcia, was working one punch. He was working one right cross in the pre-fight. And guess what? Come the seventh round, that right cross came to pass. And Keith had knocked Josecito down early, and it looked like he was in control. And suddenly, Keith couldn't see anything that was coming straight at him. He could not get out of the way. And his neck got snapped. I'm sure he was concussed. After the fight, he was slurring and stumbling. It was... And then he's talking about how he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao. And I'm here to tell you, that version of Keith Thurman does not beat Manny Pacquiao. Not the old Manny, not any Manny that we've seen.
No, he looked terrible.
He really looked bad, because then after that seventh round, from the 7th to the 12th, he pretty much was on his horse. He ran the rest of the fight. He didn't have any thump on his punches. They almost stopped the fight in the 7th round.
They sure did.
And this was
good to see it.
This was his championship savvy, because what happened in the 7th round, after that he was almost done, and he threw just a couple punches to let the ref know, hey, I'm still conscious. Don't stop the fight. And yeah, man. And he probably won the 12th round. Now I would say that's probably the thing that got it done. He won the fight. I'm not disputing the result,
because he knocked him down.
And he dominated the first half of the fight.
He knocked Josecito down, but he didn't look good.
He didn't look like a champ,
especially against a guy who's
not supposed to be on anywhere near his level.
Yeah. And he looks like he needs a few tune-up fights before he fights.
A few more. If you can get that back. Yeah. Because honestly, what I saw, and I'm a big fan of one time, what I saw was that loose chin.
Yeah.
You can't have a loose chin and loose body work, because he's never been a big fan of the body work.
And he got on his horse again.
Yeah.
And he was running the latter part of the fight, which never goes over well. And if you get into a fight with one of these faster fighters that can cut off the ring, he's going to sleep.
He has to.
He still might be asleep.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The long one.
Yeah.
2 weeks in. I think that's called a coma.
Yeah. Well, he was looking like he was getting brain damage out there.
He looked like he got brain damage.
And which was looking terrible. I mean, I hate to see it happen to any of the fighters, especially a guy like him, because you know that he likes to mix it up, but he got caught with a shot and he never recovered.
He never recovered. He never had any more steam on his punches. His legs never came back.
And I'm looking at your man's record, and he fought Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. Those are the only ones.
Who else is at 47? He's in Al Heyman's stable. They won't let him fight anybody.
Well, but you said that he didn't,
he fought everybody there.
Luis Calazo, Robert Guerrero, Leonard Bundu, Julio Diaz.
If you look at Bundu's
Gabriel
record,
Chavez.
I guess you can just name out just random. I don't even think those people are even on the list. You're making this up.
Marcus Luck,
Right. Abel.
cousin of Andrew Luck.
Abel Jones.
Abel Jones. I think he was at the Blue Whale with you last night.
Right.
I'm on Boxing Rec.
Hey, man, look.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, what I'm saying is that regardless of that, as it is now, it ain't looking right. I can tell you that much. It's not looking right.
And you hate to see a guy check out of his career early because you see some of the guys you like, wait, this dude might need to wrap it up. And he looks like a guy that maybe needs
the next fight should tell the truth.
Yeah, the next fight let us know because nobody wants to see these guys in there getting brain damage.
Nobody wants to see you get hurt.
Getting pummeled like that. You know, you look at Adonis Stevenson and look how he finished his career up. This is just not healthy.
No, it's not healthy. It's gonna influence the rest of your life. You have to get out of the ring. At the oldest you are, it's 40. You got to get out of the ring and live another potentially 25 to 40 years.
Oh, wow. And I'm looking at his thing right now. It says suspended by New York State Athletic Commission indefinitely.
Yeah, and that's because of punishment.
Wow.
You know, if you get stopped before the bell, you get an automatic suspension from the commission. Now, he didn't get stopped, but I think everybody watching the fight could see what the damage was.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about, by the way, they're talking about Big Baby and Anthony Joshua being like almost done.
Yeah.
In the United States,
yes.
Exactly what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. They've been trying to coax him out of the UK, which I know that everybody's game on getting him out of the UK, but I know how American boxing is. If he gets into a situation where he doesn't put somebody to sleep, he has a great chance of losing his belts. Because this is the way that we operate over here. So then, in that situation, we can manipulate Anthony Joshua to play games or to play ball.
To start having him fight every couple months, like against guys we want him to fight.
Yes, and
I personally don't think Big Baby is the guy to do that, but I think that I can see exactly what you mean because boxing is a dirty game.
Yeah, man. And so now you talk about him, Big Baby. I don't think he's ever been stopped, but Anthony Joshua might punish him because he talked about his mom.
Slick about his mom. He's still talking slick about his mom.
And he's talking slick about his mom. And Anthony Joshua, if you go on YouTube and watch this interview with Anthony Joshua, and he was devastated that he talked about his mom.
Wait a minute, man. He said, what about my mom? What did he say about my mom?
Come on, Mike. Are you kidding? Yeah, no question. He's ready to lay hands.
Yeah, and so that'll be interesting. And then we have the fight that happened last night with the Crusher.
Yeah.
Redeemed himself.
He did.
He got that dub.
I mean, what can you do?
I still think that Bivol is going to put him out of his misery. There's a couple light heavies that are not playing with Sergey. He can't have those off nights. But he enlisted the help of Buddy McGirt, and it seemed like Buddy McGirt was able to get his mind right. Buddy McGirt, they asked him afterwards, and he said, yeah. He said he listened. He listened the whole camp. And he threw a lot more punches than he normally throws. And the rumor has it that Sergey has a problem with the bottle, so maybe he was able to actually get dried out and train properly because he went the distance, too. So It wasn't like, and that's not been his strong suit.
Right.
Oh, wow.
At all, yeah. And there was one more fight that we needed to cover. Who else was fighting? Yeah, Sergey.
I don't think God wants us fighting.
We won. Thank you, brother. On a Sunday, that was nice of you. And we got somebody else that just fought last night. Lopez fought. There's a matter of fact, there's a cat who there's a cat who's gonna get a mandatory against Lomo now.
What about that the lightweight fight that just happened?
Yeah, you're talking about the one that just from the cat with the busted jaw that came back.
Yeah.
He got that dub. He punished an Italian kid last night. Yeah, he knocked him out. That actually is why I was late that's why I caught the second set. Yeah, it's
oh man, yeah.
Lopez, I do believe was his name.
Oh,
what's my man's name?
Something?
Hold on, let's look it up.
Be OV.
Yeah, because that was you know what? I know where to look.
That's my bad. I should.
No. It's all good. We got so much stuff happening. We get so much stuff happening, brother. That's how it works. So it was Valdez versus Tomasone.
Yeah.
And Tomasone was undefeated, and he got punished.
Yep.
And he had that busted jaw, and he came back, and it looked like his jaw was fine because that kid hit his jaw a bunch. He just didn't have a lot of pop.
Right.
The only good thing about that is that guy got knocked out. The only good thing is that he proposed to his girl afterwards, and she said yes. So he still won. First time we've seen the loser be the winner.
Maybe.
How?
Well, I mean, come on.
She said, yeah. But she didn't say maybe. She said, yeah. After he got knocked out. So she can't get any more down.
She
can't get no more down. And then the lightweight
she can still leave
is Richard Comey. Richard Kami is the one that won. he won the IBF lightweight world championship last night, and I believe now he's the one that's going to fight Lomachenko.
Oh, okay.
And there was a brother, and he started doing the dirty bird after the fight and the whole song and dance. So
cocky already.
It could be. I mean, Loma going to put him to the test. I tell you that much.
Hey man, hands.
Put them paws on him, huh?
Man, whoop whoop.
Man, yeah. So
They can make sound fronts to that.
do they have any? Do we got Premier? I think there may be another fight coming up. PVC may be coming up. Oh yeah, that's what we got. And because we got to step in now on Showtime because Abner Mares got hurt, so we can't fight Gervonta Davis.
What happened to him?
I don't know exactly, but Robert Garcia apologized. A lot of people apologized. So now they got somebody who stepped in.
So Tank got to mop somebody up real quick.
Tank has to beat up on Hugo Ruiz.
Sometimes those are dangerous fights, though.
I don't think this is going to be dangerous.
I don't think
for
it's
him.
dangerous either, but it's always a little.
But Abner would have been dangerous because Abner is a disciplined fighter, even though he doesn't have a lot of pop like Gervonta does. But
Abner wouldn't have been a problem for him.
Gervonta comes in unfocused at times.
Yeah, but
he doesn't make
I haven't
weight,
seen
all kind of
that
stuff.
was the past few fights. I mean, that was a little while ago. He can't beat Tank. I mean, let's be real. Tank would have walked through him, I do believe. Tank has got a lot going for him for a little guy.
He has a lot of heat that he can put on you for a little dude. I really want to see him fight Loma.
I would too.
But I want to see him fight Loma when Tank is focused. And that's just...
He's been focused his past few fights, though.
I don't know about that, T. He's been focused for one fight. And it was the fight before that he was...
I thought that was two fights before.
It was two in a row that he was not focused. One, he didn't make weight.
Yeah.
And one
and then I
was
thought
like...
after the one he didn't make weight, then he got his act together.
I want to say he even missed one or something.
Dude, he didn't even show up?
Bro, I saw him down on Figueroa.
Dude. You don't think? Yeah, this man, dude. Tank needs an intervention.
Nah, no disrespect to Tank. Tank is actually, he has got a lot going for him, and I just want to see him reach his potential, to be honest. But he's supposed to have been fighting Tevin Farmer forever because Tevin Farmer got his strap and got his belt, and, he won. And that's Philly's Tevin Farmer, and there's no... Now, all of a sudden, all that talk, they had that square off that they did. I think we just missed it. As a matter of fact, and I'm happy we just missed it at the Mandalay.
Oh, really?
Outside. Yeah, man, it's just a cuss fest galore. It's all on YouTube. You can watch it on
thank goodness I missed that.
Secbacks News. Yeah. I don't need any of that. It's a little bit excessive, all right, for your virgin ears, brother. So we got that. We had Serena Williams starring in a Bumble ad on
Saw that.
Yeah, that was interesting. But what I want to wrap up with, unless you guys got something else, is
we have the awards from the NFL. They let out the awards of the Rookie of the Year and all that kind
let
of
them
stuff.
out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
release the hounds.
Yeah, and I think that the NFL did a good job by having that at this point, and also by who they awarded.
Right.
That's true. It was
Mahomes won the MVP.
Mahomes won.
Saquon won the Rookie of the Year.
And I love the way Saquon. I love the way everybody spoke. Like I love the way everybody really represented and the motivationally. Like the kid from the commercial with this prosthetic wrist.
Yeah,
the prosthetic hand.
I like that.
Yeah, he was man. Did you see it? It was. I think you were working. As a matter of fact, yeah. Because this is all the stuff I was watching. Made me catch the second set instead of the first set. Yeah, there was some good content on last night. But what I wanted to talk about is tennis really quickly.
Okay.
Novak Djokovic put on an absolutely, positively
dominating,
unmatched performance in a final. I have never seen one of the world's top three players play another world top three player and totally dominate. He just straight setted Rafael Nadal.
Right.
I can't explain to you how unreal that
Rafa
is.
looked confused.
And Rafa was like, me?
Like, yeah, you.
Yes, brother. I'm sorry.
I got something for you.
I got 6'2" for you.
I got 6'2".
I got 6'2". I mean, we ain't going to bagel you because we just, we got too much respect for you. But
gluten-free.
Novak is gluten-free. Hey, man.
He let him have it.
This was unreal what I watched. And
it was unreal.
After the first set, I was like, okay, he'll come back.
And Novak was like, no, he won't.
Actually won't.
I'm going to dominate him all the way.
Soup to nuts.
Soup to nuts.
Soup to nuts. Top to bottom.
Top to bottom. That's the theme. Come on now.
Soup to nuts
tonight.
That's what you see it? There it is. It's soup, and there's the nuts. It's done.
Oh, man.
I mean, this was really like.
I mean, it was
6'3", 6'2", 6'3", 2 hours.
And you know what?
That's unbelievable.
The unbelievable part. Yeah,
That
the
was a beatdown.
unbelievable part about that is that when Rafa looked like he might be able to turn the corner.
And that's usually when he does it.
Novak put the pedal.
He ain't got no finesse, man. Like, you know,
he's a power player.
Yeah.
No. He's got it. Don't sleep. Rafael Nadal has it all.
He has it all.
He has it all.
Really though?
Yeah.
Right.
He's got finesse.
He
and what he has.
I like him because
I almost want to say he's drummer queen, but I don't want to put him out there like that.
But he's mean though.
That's why I like him, because he's mean. And even when they were just talking to him, they start talking to him about pay equality and this and the other. And he looked at the announcer. He was like, "What does this have to do with tennis?" He's like, "What does this have to do with me?" He's so focused. Yeah. He's a total jerk when he's on the court. And I can appreciate that. Just like I appreciated it with Kobe Bryant, just like I appreciate it with Michael Jordan. I like my superstars to be mean. Yeah, because I like them to have an arrogance like, why you shouldn't even, what, huh?
But the arrogance is because they were adaptable. Like, you know, they knew how to switch up the game plan to win. You know,
that's what the great ones do.
Exactly.
Like and Nadal does that.
We're talking about. That's why we mad at what just happening.
I didn't think Tom Brady made any adjustments. He was locked and he stayed locked.
He played sad, so they knew they didn't. You know, they couldn't stand a sad Tom Brady. So like, oh shit, we don't know how to play a sad Tom Brady. Well, he missed a pass, so they're gonna run the ball. Okay.
He threw wobblers. He threw short passes.
Oh man, nah, man.
And Naomi Osaka won back-to-back.
Right.
By the way, U.S. Open, Australian Open.
Really?
Yeah. I've been trying to tell people for one solid year
Osaka.
Since we covered the match at Indian Wells. I told people this girl is next, and she's turning the corner right now. She won the tournament there in Indian Wells.
Yeah.
She went on to be a little bit confused for the rest of the year until New York, and it's been Osaka ever since. She's hard to beat, man. She's hard to beat, and she's getting paid. Looks like she's made $7.6 million since this time last year.
Boy, that gum sounded good. What are you chewing over there?
Wrigley's, brother. Spearmint.
Spearmint. You're a spearmint man.
You're a classic man. This is my ode to the Cubs. Wrigley Field.
Keeping the breath fresh.
On the mic. I got to smell my own breath on the mic. So, I don't want to come in hot.
We want to be minty.
That's it. I want equality of breath. That's what I need. All right, gents. Well, long edition of the Ozone. Eric, thank you so much. Tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on ericharland.com. You can also
Twitter, Instagram. Talk to them.
Instagram. Yeah. Man, I'm all over. I like to stay mysterious, though. You know, that's my thing, which makes you search me out even more.
Oh, and it does. It does. Or maybe for the millennials, it doesn't. Who knows?
The millennials, man.
You got love for the millennials. I like that perspective you had. Most people are bashing millennials.
I love the millennials, man. Like they're savage in a way that, they just want to. How do you explain it? Like they want to undo everything that's been done.
Donald Trump?
Savage.
Oh, no. Donald Trump that's just some...
He wants to do everything that's been done.
No.
He wants to undo everything that President Obama did. Exactly. That's not everything that's been done. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
Man, there's an interest in them switching things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I like that. I respect that. I respect where they're going,
from living into tiny homes to
I have no interest.
Well,
in that
yeah,
tiny
because
homes,
everything
the way that they transport to not owning anything and creating a sharing economy, all of that.
Exactly, everything that's been sold to us has been sold to us, and I feel like they're coming up in the time where they understand that. And they're willing to take risks where we maybe were not willing to take those same risks. And so I appreciate it because it just shows a different perspective. And
it sounds like you feel like they're same with the Jazz, like they're all out of the box. They smash the structure.
Yeah, but
let me ask you this: do you think that they have discipline? That's the problem I have with the millennials. They have a lack of discipline.
Is discipline something that's something that's needed to be had? You know what I mean? Like that's something. I feel like the American dream. Think about it like this. When the American dream was sold to you, right? It was like, okay, I got to have a home. I got to have a family. I got to have children. And, as it may be, all that's beautiful. But when you really think about it, when you have a home and, you have a wife and you have a family, you have children, what are you doing?
Paying bills.
Paying bills, brother.
Yeah.
You just paying bills.
You caught up in that capitalism. You caught up in that capitalism.
And so, exactly. So it's like, is that really the goal? Is that really, you know what I mean?
Back in the day, but you know what? It's just from back in the day. Back in the day, everybody had big families, everybody had farms and stuff
which
like
is
that.
also a different version, though. And I agree with what you're saying. That's a different version of the dream, which is more apt because you're talking about living with 20 or 30 people that everybody knows each other.
Exactly.
You're talking about a microtized version that has been bubbled down and boiled over. Because if you also apply that to, say, I can remember when we were shooting Miracle at St. Anna, and I just hooked up with the homie Ely the other day, and we were talking about how we had one day off a week, and we would go to try to wash our drawers and do stuff, or maybe go to the restaurant we like, and the cat just wasn't there between 2 and 6. And I remember going back and being like, "Yo, man, what you doing? You Ben Bignone. I go home, I make love to my wife. I take a nap, but yeah." Exactly. It was like, well, I guess he's living the dream. What do I want from him?
The millennials can't do that. Their pants are too tight. They can't go home and do that.
Well, no, they are doing it because, they're not attached to, like, the same results that I feel like that we are attached.
Ernie liked that one. Ernie appreciated good tight pants millennial joke. When we hear the podcast, it's going to have some added sound effects. Right?
I'll be back at the washateria soon.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, man.
Good times, man. I really appreciate y'all inviting me to the show. I'm sorry I didn't have much more to,
You watched the game. You brought enough. We learned your perspective on millennials. This is nice.
Hey, man, look.
This is jazzy. See what I did there? It's jazzy. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. It's tough. It's tough what I bring to the game. This is the Ozone. We're going to leave you with a quote from John Wooden, because I love John Wooden. That's why. Let's leave you with this. It is what you learn after you know it all that counts. That's just a wonderful, this is just a wonderful. Awesome. If you had a coach like that, geez Louise, and you see how many young men that he turned into great leaders.
Right.
And that's just the ones we know from his teams. You know what I mean? Let alone the guys who knows what we know. Yeah.
Went off into the real world.
I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Yeah, no, this is the art in here is beautiful.
Oh,
this is a beautiful room.
That quote, that hit it. That was it.
Yeah. All right, folks. I'm your host, a dejected, non-Todd Gurley MVP winning Rams fan here, Omar Miller. I'm here. Our special guest tonight was Eric Harland. You can find him at ericharland.com on Twitter and Instagram at the same Eric Harland with an H. I'm here with my brother Terry, and I'm here with Ernie the engineer. Hopefully this thing comes out because Ernie's been struggling.
Had to put you on blast.
This is the Ozone.
Ozone.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game. This here is my life.